Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 937 of Screw the Commute podcast. Today we're going to talk about paying attention to your market. All right. If you don't do that, you can have the best products and services, but if it's for the wrong people, you're screwed. All right. I hope you didn't miss episodes 29 through 35. This was my Don't Waste Time series on a whole bunch of things that I do, but I don't waste time on them. That's the whole thing. I want you to use a lot of the things available to you online, but I don't want you wasting time on them. So that's episodes 29 through 35. And anytime you want to get to a back episode, you go to screwthecommute.com/ and then the episode number. Now, grab a copy of our automation ebook at screwthecommute.com/ automate free and check out my mentor program at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. All right. Now, if you've been listening to this show for a long time, you'll notice that I very rarely do anything political. And today really isn't going to be what you'd say political, taking sides or doing any of that kind of stuff. You know, I have my opinions on stuff, but I want to show you how not paying attention to your market can really hurt you. See, the market wants what it wants, not what you tell it wants, okay? You have to have some real serious clout to tell your market what they want. And the market doesn't like wishy-washy. In fact, for years and years and years, I've been teaching in my copywriting training, that's copywriting901.com, the fast track to writing words that sell, is that specific sells and general doesn't. Specific sells and general doesn't. People don't like wishy-washy. All right, so I am going to relate this to the recent political atmosphere. And you know, all the polls were saying, okay, the economy is the number one thing, or you know, pretty much that was the top thing. And even back to Bill Clinton said, it's the economy, stupid. All right. And then from most of the surveys and most of the polls, it went economy, immigration, inflation, and way down the list was abortion. Now, I don't have a dog in that fight, or I'll say I don't have an embryo in that fight or something like that, all right? I don't want to make too much light of that. But if you concentrate on things that are not of interest to the market, no matter how good you are, no matter how moral you are, no matter how accurate you are in your statistics and your pitch for whatever you're selling, if the market is somewhere way else from what you're doing, then they're not going to respond. And it is pretty obvious that with the landslide victory of Trump compared to Kamala, it's, you know, there's several reasons you can probably point to. Is if the economy and immigration and inflation are the highest things on people's minds, especially I did hear one commentator say, well, you know, when a mother is at the grocery store trying to afford stuff to feed her kids and her family, she normally doesn't just stop and say, you know what, I think I'll get an abortion. All right. All right. Now, again, I don't want to make light of people in that situation. However, the other, what they call kitchen table things were more important. And whether you like Trump or not, it doesn't really matter. That's all he talked about was that kind of stuff. He only talked about abortion if they pinned him down. And he says, well, I'm pro-life, but I'm leaving it up to the states. I'm not going to sign an abortion ban. So, you know, but that was just a tiny fraction of his pitch to the American people. It was all economy, immigration, drill, baby, drill, get the gas prices down, get the food prices down, everything that the market was wanting, which is he was paying attention to the market. Now, I do understand that was more difficult for Ms. Harris because it all sucked under her watch. All right. So I get that it was hard for her to get out there and say stuff about it. But again, back to my specific sells and general doesn't. Here's an example. So Trump says, I'm going to put tariffs, the exact percentage. This is what's going to happen if they screw us over. This tax percentage is going to be for for companies making stuff in the United States. If not, we're going to raise it on them. So very specific things it was going to do. Where Ms. Harris was saying things like, we're going to create an opportunity market. Well, what does that mean? How does that, we're going to give 25,000. Now, this is one thing where if you're specific and it's kind of crazy, it doesn't work either. So specific, we're going to give you $25,000 for first-time home buyers. Well, all the major real estate gurus, far removed from Trump, don't even like Trump, many of them, are saying that's the most ridiculous thing they ever heard. It's going to drive the prices of the home up. Who's going to pay for this? All that kind of stuff. So, so specific that's crazy, outrageously crazy that you could never do probably doesn't help you. Now, it doesn't mean you shouldn't push for, high-end goals. I mean, most of the things I've accomplished in my life, people told me I was crazy. All right. So I'm not against going after big goals, but you got to have a real plan, not, hiding and being wishy-washy about how this is going to work. So you got to pay attention to your market. And one way to do this for people like us is to survey your market. Now, there is a book by Ryan Levesque, and it's spelled Levesque, called Ask. And I highly recommend the book. But however, the first part of the book is kind of him bragging about all his great results. But the second part of the book, I still to this day use something I learned from that. And that is the fact that when you survey your market, you do not give them incentive to fill out the survey or to answer the survey. Because if you do, people will do it and just give throwaway answers, and they don't give a crap what they say just to get the incentive. And so you get terrible information from it. So he suggested that you give no incentive and just put the survey out there to your market. And the people most interested in that topic are going to take the time to fill it out, and they're going to fill it out in a more thoughtful manner. See, you get great results compared to giving some incentive. And again, this is an example of what Ms. Harris did, which is get Beyonce. And a lot of this backfired, paid Beyonce a bunch of money to appear and let everybody think that she's going to sing. And then she speaks for 4 minutes and leaves. And all of these celebrity things where I'm going to actually do a thing in a couple of days on, I don't know, maybe it's tomorrow, next time, maybe on, it's 9:38 is going to be celebrity endorsements. But she did it because she can't create big crowds compared to Trump. In fact, well, on the debate stage, she goaded him a little bit. I would have answered a little bit differently, but anyway, she can't possibly pull the crowds that he can pull. So she gets these celebrities and pays them fortunes, Oprah and Bruce Springsteen and Beyonce. And then it backfired when Beyonce never sang. She just talked for a couple minutes. All right. That's not really helping you if you are, doing those kinds of things. That's what we call wishy-washy. You're getting somebody else to just say good things about you, but those people aren't buying your eggs. Which, by the way, I just came from the grocery store before I recorded this. $10.99 for some of the eggs that were. I'm like, are you kidding me? They're like 39 cents a dozen. I think even less than that when I was a kid. So you got to do what your market is telling you that they want. And no matter how hard it is, it's still better than giving them a bunch of stuff about things that aren't big on their mind. And again, the abortion thing, I don't have like I said, I tease about an embryo in a fight, but the old sayings, I don't have a dog in a fight. But the thing is it wasn't the top of mind, and it was a tiny fraction of the market. And then instead of having your own charisma and saying and addressing things that were on people's minds, she didn't, and so she got just killed. And I mean, and a lot of the people on The View were saying, well, she didn't really get a landslide against her. Well, yeah, she did, because the Electoral College is what counts in presidential elections. And she just got her butt handed to her in the Electoral College. She lost the popular vote by 7 million votes. And I think somebody was saying, well, it's only 1.5% she lost by. Well, yeah, but it's a landslide when you look at the fact that it's the Electoral College that matters, and all the swing states and all that stuff. And again, I hate politics. I really do. I think to win at the highest levels, you've got to be two-faced. You can't please enough people. All right. But that's beside the point. Now, back to the finding out what your market wants is that book, Ask, is good. And then I have 2 different episodes on surveys, and that's episode 463 and episode 916. And of course, you go to screwthecommute.com/ and then the episode number 463, and then screwthecommute.com/ 916 will give you more on surveys. And then find out what your market wants, and then make sure your pitches fulfill those wants in the audience. All right, because you have to have enormous amounts of money and branding and all this stuff to tell people what they want. All right, and Ms. Harris couldn't do it with $1 billion that she raised in less than 100 days. That's a massive record. But all that money didn't do anything to help a win, see? So you can even have tons of money and still screw up if you don't pay attention to your market, which is the title of this episode. All right, so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Hey, besides my mentor program, I have the only licensed dedicated internet marketing school in the country. We have scholarships, 50% scholarships for military, first responders, law enforcement, nurses, and it's the only one in the country that's licensed and dedicated to that topic, run by somebody like me who has become a multimillionaire doing this 25 years ago. All right, and still to this day, we're the only school that changes our curriculum. I mean, sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, and that's not WEAKLY. It's WEEKLY. None of the big schools do that, and none of them are taught by people like me who have actually done it. So if you want your child or grandchild or yourself to have a high-level education without student loans for the rest of your life that are breaking the bank, then check out imtcva.org. Email me at tom@screwthecommute.com. There's no high pressure here. It's just if you want something good for your people that have an actual skill that's in super high demand, because every company on earth needs this skill. And so we've had students making $6,000 a month before, and only in the school like 4 months. Right, because most small businesses are clueless about this. So there's an enormous market out there, and you don't have to go to a 4-year college and get indoctrinated and learn how to protest. Right, you can do this. We even have had high school students doing this. We've had older people that want to retire with this. We've had military people that move all the time. So it's really a great opportunity for you. So check it out at imtcva.org. And I will catch you on the next episode, 938, where we're going to talk about celebrity endorsements and the pros and cons of them. Catch you later.